Are your garden lights not lasting like they're new? Are they turning dark before the evening's over? Stick around, I'll show you how to revitalize them. Hey Lawn Journey friends, it's Russ. Welcome back. Like I said, I want to diversify a little bit this season. I am still concentrating on my lawn and sharing everything that I'm doing, but there are other things that I do in the yard, and it is part of the journey, so hey, I thought I would share this with you. Many of you guys probably have these solar lights. These I purchased from QVC probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and believe it or not, they still work, but I have noticed over a period of time that the light is not as intense and they don't last as long. Now, I realize that part of that is probably due to the fact that I should replace the rechargeable batteries, and that will be part of this operation. However, I have seen on other channels a way to revitalize these lights, so I'm going to be doing it. It's not my original idea by any means, but I thought I would just share the process with you guys in case you haven't seen it and you want to give it a shot. So we're going to take a close look at the top of this light where you can see the solar collector. And from being outside over many years, and I leave these out during the winter, the top, the translucent properties of it has definitely deteriorated. It's almost like a on some cars, not all cars, but I noticed on some cars the headlights will fog, and there's restorative products to restore, you know, the clear lens of your headlight. That's essentially what we're going to be doing today. So what I'm going to be doing is using 3M 2000 grit wet sandpaper, okay? And we're going to wet sand the top, and we're going to clean it, okay? So it's a very mild abrasive sandpaper. We're going to remove a lot of the environmental grime that's accumulated on the top of this. We're going to clean it, wet sanding it using water, and you guys can follow me. This video is going to be short. When these things are thoroughly dried, I'm going to be sealing them with a gloss automotive enamel. I'm going to use a little template just so I don't get overspray on the finished texture of the light, and we're going to put a protective coating on it. I probably will also be replacing these batteries. They're 5 years old. You can source the batteries very inexpensively from Amazon. I could provide a link below, but you probably need to check your batteries that you may have in yours, but they're AA size, so they're probably pretty standard. In fact, they're equipped with an Energizer battery, and you can see this is the light. It's just an LED, and they work rather nice. These are glass lenses on these, so I'll be also cleaning these, although they look fairly clean on the inside. So this is a very simple operation though. I have my hose. Okay, I'm going to set it on a cone spray. We don't need a lot of water. These do get wet. These are all weather, obviously, lights because they're left outside all year. I tore off a small piece of the 2000 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to fold that up. And if you've ever wet sanded anything, you just need to do it with a little bit of water. It provides lubrication. So let's provide a little water right here, and we're going to do a little wet sanding and try to clear up this photocell. Wow, it already did a magnificent job. So as you can already see, it's already looking 100% better. And there's just this area right here I'm going to concentrate on a little bit. The before and after is already noticeable. I can see the photocell through it. Where before it was all covered with environmental grime, junk, and I think this is probably going to provide a much better performance value when I light these back up this evening, if I can get a nice charge on these. So I'm just working on that one area. I have a feeling this little area that's not coming clean right here, there's probably something underneath the cell. Okay, but the top, 100% better. I'm gonna wash this again, clean it with a little Windex, let it dry, and then we're gonna seal it. All right, so I retrieved a few more from the garden. One of them was full of ants. So looking at the table, which one is not the same? This is the one I just cleaned. These in the garden. This one totally fogged over. Look at that. So let's clean these. See what condition we can get them in. I mean, these come with a sealer on them. So I'm probably just, what I'm doing is removing it with all the grime that's accumulated on it. And the whole trick with the 2000 grit sandpaper is to prevent it a lot from scratching. That's why you wet sand with water, provides a little lubrication. That one's done. Let's see what we can do with this one. Already right there. Look at the difference. Now, if I can restore these from, 100% coverage where they've been blocked with environmental degradation, and I can restore 95 or 90% of the surface area, it's going to help extend the life and the ability for these to recharge, especially as the days get shorter. And like I said, I run these all year. I've never taken them in. I mean, guys, you can see me doing this. This is probably going to take me all of 15 minutes to clean all of these, as far as the wet sanding is concerned. All right, step 2, team. I'm going to give each one of these a nice wipe down. Make sure we got all the grit off, and then we're going to let them dry thoroughly. And last step 3 will be to put the protective coating on. All right, guys, it's not rocket science. Took a piece of cardboard, cut a square, dimensions of the photocell. I'm going to use this just to keep some overspray off the top of the metal cover. And let's go ahead and coat these with the gloss enamel, and we'll be done. Take note that probably lighter, thinner coats are better than something thick and runny. All right, guys, so as you can see, step 1 was to clean the photocells with the 3M grit sandpaper. Step 2 was to clean the photocell off after they dried with a little Windex and a paper towel. And finally, step 3 was to put a protective gloss enamel coating on the photocell, which will keep them from hazing over, protect them from the weather, and also provide some durability. All right, team, so here we go. Finished product. Looks much better than it did half an hour ago. I'm going to put these back on their stanchions and pop them back on, and we're going to take a look to see how much the light has improved this evening versus how they looked last evening. I have video of both. So the original batteries that came in these were 700 milliamp. I replaced them with 1200s. Now, will they fully charge during a daylight cycle? I can't really say that. I probably could put a battery tester on them to verify, but I wasn't able to find 700s, so I went with a 1200. However, I have to say that I have noticed the ones that I have not replaced the batteries in are not staying on as long in the evening. This one will still be on tomorrow morning if I get up before sunrise, where the other ones will be dim and almost out. So I've pretty much restored these close to their original specifications as far as brightness and length of runtime. So guys, it's an easy fix. You've probably seen this before, or maybe you haven't, but you only need a couple pieces of material to carry out the restoration, and you always have the option to replace the batteries. So with that said, guys, these are quality lamps. A little work, did a little restoration. Materials were inexpensive. You could consider the batteries as an optional feature. Like I said, I wanted to maintain luminosity as many hours into the evening as possible. And I noticed before I changed to the new batteries, even after I cleaned the solar cells, my lights were staying on longer. They just weren't as intense. And I think that's probably because these batteries are 700 milliamp hours and they're probably approaching 5 years old, so I replaced them. I would have replaced them with 700s because they're cheaper. I could have bought probably a box of 40 700s, but I don't need 40 AA rechargeable batteries. So I just bought a box of 8 and they happen to be 1200 milliamp hours. Now, will they fully charge? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I could pull them and put them on a meter and check them at some point, but it's really not necessary. I did notice that even before I changed the batteries, that they are brighter in the evening because I think they are taking on more of a charge and lasting longer. They weren't making it all the way through the night like they used to. So I put the new batteries in and they are definitely still on in the morning. So a little investment. I revitalized my garden lights. So if you guys have done this or you've done it in a different way, consider leaving some comments below. If you got anything out of the video or you watched it to the end, leave me a like. I'd appreciate it. Get out there, get it done, and I'll see you next time on Lawn Journeys.